Hi folks, welcome to Greg's Workshop. I'm Greg and today we're going to be excavating for a foundation for a new combination shed greenhouse. Right now I'm standing in our garden. You can see the fence over here that I took out, that's the backyard. This is going to be basically two 8x12 sheds attached. There's going to be an 8x12 conventionally framed shed in the backyard side. There's going to be an 8x12 greenhouse on this side. You can see we've got these grade stakes here, over there. Those are actually excavation stakes. They're a foot out in each direction, so it's going to be a little bit smaller than that. You can see them in the back corners as well. What we're going to do today is we're going to trench out for 3 foundation sections, one in the middle, one on each end. We're going to build the shed up first, then we'll build the greenhouse as a lean-to onto the shed. All right, here's what we have planned for the shed. It's going to be a total of 16 by 12. Going to have an 8x12 greenhouse, 8x8 lawn equipment storage, and a 4x8 hand tool storage room. This is what it's going to look like from the end. The other end is going to be all walls. I'm going to have a door for the hand tool shed, door for the greenhouse. This will be sheathed with T111. This side will be sheathed with Suntough corrugated roofing. Let's talk about the different shed foundation types. I've got one here, wood floor, 4x6 beams. You could do gravel, just straight on the grade, or you could do blocks inset into the ground, leveled out. You could do another wood floor, same 4x6 beams, but rather than blocks or gravel, you could use poured concrete piers. These are pretty good. I've done this before. The problem is the concrete shows outside of the edge there. That's no good. Down here, you've got concrete slabs called a monolith slab. So footings along the edge extend below the frost line, comes up narrow in the middle to save concrete. Over here is just your standard flat concrete slab on grade. I can get away with that if it's a small shed, if it's not that heavy. What I'm going to be doing is kind of a combination. We're going to have wood floor, 2x6 joists, 2x6 pressure treated mud sill on top of a concrete stem wall and footing. Now we're only going to pour 2 of these. We're going to pour them along the 12-foot long sides of the main shed part, and then we're going to leave this open for ventilation. I spent a few hours yesterday evening building up these forms for the footing and the stem wall. What we've got here is 2x6 down here, a couple 2x8s. Our finished grade is going to be roughly right here. That'll give us a little more than 12 inches of embedment for frostproofing. These are all in sections. They come apart, so we'll be able to take them off, all 3, carry them out, reassemble them on site. For rebar, we're going to be using number 4 half-inch rebar. We're going to have 3 sticks running longitudinally, 2 in the footings here and 1 near the top of the stem wall. We're also going to have that kind of J-bent rebar to reinforce the whole thing. And then on top, we're going to have 4 of these per footing. I'm going to go like that. That way we can bolt the shed down to the concrete.
When starting any excavation project, it's important to establish grade. This is going to be the benchmark by which you measure everything. So the top of this grade stake is going to be the top of the finished concrete wall as well as the top of the forms. I rented an excavator from a local rental yard for this project. Before we can dig the footings, we need to clear the area. We're using the 30-inch wide bucket to scrape a couple inches off the top, all the vegetation and everything. It's helpful if you have an excavator with a thumb, as you see here, to pick up extra vegetation. Now we're digging out the first footing. You'll notice that I'm using the 16-inch wide trenching bucket. That was a mistake. And why was it a mistake? Well, 15-inch wide forms don't fit very well in 16-inch wide trenches. When you need to widen a trench by only a couple inches, you end up hand digging. A lot. It's January in Oregon. Our soil is very heavy clay. It's very wet right now, and that's just a lot of work. It's very sticky. It's very difficult to deal with. first form is in. We've moved over 8 feet to dig for the next footing. You'll see that I've switched to the 30-inch wide bucket, which was what I should have done in the first place. Would have saved us about an hour's worth of work and digging.
All right, I'll walk you through where we're at. So we got this first form all set, leveled, the proper height. We're using that as a reference to do this one. So those 2x4s are exactly 8 feet long. Those 2x3 uprights are going to be at the outside of the wall, so the inside of the form. So that's exactly 8 feet wide. We've got it squared up, 178.5 inches each way. We use the laser level to make sure that the height is good on that bottom one, and then we'll stack the next layers. All right, so we've measured corner to corner. It's squared to within 1/16 of an inch, which is close enough for this project. Need to check our heights. Good. Should hear a solid tone. Good. Very good. All right, it's level, square, and it's ready for a pour. Rental equipment's been returned. Tools are picked up. I'm gonna clean them up here in a little bit, but I want to show you what we ended up with. So we've got some rebar in the bottom. The other rebar we'll be adding once we do the pour. We've got these 2x4s, 8 feet long exactly, to the outside of each wall. That holds it at the proper distance, and we'll recheck square and level when it comes time to pour. That'll probably be 8 or 9 days, I think, is what we decided. So I'll have my Finlaws back over to help with that too. Folks, thanks for coming along today while we did our excavation and formed up our footings for our shed greenhouse. This is going to be a multi-part series. I'm not sure how many parts. We'll just sort of play it by ear. The actual project itself is going to be spread out over a few months, partly because of time constraints and partly because of money constraints. Everything's really expensive, as you probably know. It's January of 2022 for future reference on down the road. Yeah, I'll keep doing these episodes. I don't know if I'm gonna release them all at once, or rather in a series, or if I'm just gonna sort of piecemeal them out every couple of weeks as they come along. I'll have to see. If you like that video, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring the bell to get notified on new videos every Saturday morning, leave a comment. I promise I'll respond, and I'll see you next week on Greg's Workshop.